What is up, everybody? I am here with my new friend, Joey Cold Cuts.
What's
First of
going on?
all, welcome to the show, and it's good to meet you. Finally, get the chance to chat it up with you.
Oh, dude, I'm thrilled to be on here. From one diehard Packers fan to another, it's a pleasure to talk shop with you. And yeah, I saw your stuff recently, kind of all over on Instagram and whatnot. And I think that we're gonna form a little friendship here. We're before the season starts, we're gonna really get along well.
I think so too. But first of all, how did you get Joey Cold Cuts name? Because I was thinking about that. But first of all, before we get to that, I saw you on Ridiculousness,
Yeah, we were
which
on.
is funny.
We were on ridiculousness. I forgot. They hit us up. They said that there was going to be a post or a clip that they were going to use, and it was one of those things that we forgot. And then one day we were watching it and it came on. And I said, "Oh shit, that's us. We're on there." So with Joey Cold Cuts, I don't know. It's just kind of become like a persona. I think I used to work with my friend Robbie, who's known as Brilliantly Dumb, and we are together. We form Bob Does Sports, which is a really cool golf channel that we go out and we have fun. And for those of you who haven't watched it, it's just like average golfers who just like to go out and have a good time. We're not crazy good at golf, but we like to have fun. We do fun challenges. We've done an 18 beer challenge and hot dog challenge, and we like to have fun. So, but we used to work together. And one night, when I first met him, he knew that my background was Italian, and I came in and it was just a rough day overall, and I was just battered and bruised. And he said, "What's going on, Joey Cold Cuts?" And everybody just started cracking up. And I guess the nickname just kind of stuck after that. I didn't know if I liked it at first or like what, but now it's just kind of taking on its own persona, and it's a lot of fun. And people who know me know it's just like Joey Cold Cuts is just a whole different breed of person. So
I like that because I've had a few nicknames in my life, but none of them were good. And
yeah.
so I thought that Cold Cuts, that's good. No, but like what it's funny because last night we watch Ridiculous all the time. Like my wife, my kid, it's always on
Hmm.
TV because don't watch a lot of TV and it's always entertaining. And I was actually looking at my iPad, looking up like your podcast and stuff that you're doing, kind of because I was gonna have you on the show. And then I heard, "Hey, Joey Cold Cuts," and like you were coming out of a store or whatever, and I was like, "Wait."
Yeah, it's pretty funny. We're kind of our stuff. We're blessed. We're kind of doing very well right now. Our stuff's kind of all over the place right now, and it's an awesome kind of feeling to see your stuff. That when you invest time, I'm sure putting on a show and putting time and energy into anything. When you start to see it become fruitful and start to really become something special. It's awesome to watch it go from the ground floor up. So right now we've been very blessed, and we're just going to keep doing our thing and have fun, and it's pretty awesome to see what's kind of happened right now.
Yeah, because I was watching your stuff, like I was saying last night, that your YouTube channel, uh, your Instagram. I was going through like your golf videos are like I'm not a big golf guy. I've always tried to get into it. Like it's funny because
Yeah.
I've asked people, they're like, people I know at golf, and I'm like, hey, I'll go golf with you. Like, have you ever golfed before? I'm like, no. They're like, we're good. But your videos are so hilarious. Like you guys are just like that soup video when you're eating soup.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
like, "It's Texas. It's like 80 degrees." I showed my wife that video even. I was like, "I don't know why that video is just hilarious because you're just serious."
But the funny thing is, where it's not even staged. It's just us being us. We found that we just put up the GoPro on the cart when we drive. I forget it's even on there sometimes. And it's like, the moments that we get, just the outlandish things that we say, you don't realize day to day how it is to observe yourself from an outside perspective. But we're pretty batshit crazy. So when someone sees what we say and do from a day to day, to us, we don't think anything of it, and then you watch it back and you're like, oh, this is really funny. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's fun. And what I like a lot about our videos is like you can watch it as a non-golfer. Like if you don't ever golf, you don't know the golfing terminology or the golf world, you
Yeah.
can tune into an episode of Bob Does Sports and just have a ton of fun with it and laugh. And to me, when I read the comments where somebody says I don't golf but I still love the video, that to me is the best, because I know that we're hitting like everybody. It's not just the golfing community. Like everybody can watch our stuff and enjoy it, and it's fun. We just like to go out there and have ourselves a day. And you know what? You ever want to golf with me? We'll take you on, even if you shoot 150. I think we'll still have a good time. We'll crush some beers and we'll get after it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be a good golfer because I got this little eye situation. I don't know if you noticed, but my hand-eye coordination is not up to par, so I don't know if I'd hit the ball real good. But yeah, I agree, like exactly what everyone's saying because I don't know anything about golf, but your videos are hilarious. But I know that this is probably not a question that listeners might not like or care about, but like, how do you edit your videos? Because like, if you have a GoPro there, because I edit like a little bit, but
Yeah.
like that's gotta be like a lot of hours of video.
We're very fortunate. We have a guy that we you does everything for us. We call him the Jet because he's like he'll get a video within a night and he'll finish it. He's just like super fast and efficient, just takes off like a jet. We call him the Jet. But he films all our stuff and he edits everything and kind of like taught himself like basically how to do everything from scratch. And he's just super awesome. He helps us with our podcast and stuff. So without him, we'd be pretty much, we'd be in a lot of trouble because if you had to rely on me for editing, I have no idea what I'm doing. I just go out there, I have fun, I golf, and it's kind of like I kind of get the best out of all the worlds because I don't have to worry about the editing or anything like that. I mean, I'll give my input and what I think we should do, and when we clip videos and how we want to do things and how we want to, portray it to, to market it to people. But in terms of like the actual content, he's editing everything. So I'm pretty lucky from that. But I can get you in touch with him. He's very, very smart. The guy is like, he just sees things from like a perspective that no one else does. He's very quiet. He doesn't like to talk to many people. He puts his head down. He just gets after it. He's a grinder, but I can get you in touch with him. He's a really good guy to know.
Yeah, I edit all my videos like on my phone. Like I'm horrible. You've seen my content. That's why the selfie videos are the best because I don't have to edit anything. But I want to talk about the Green Package with you because you don't talk
Yep.
about like you talk about everything like on your podcast. Like, first of all, you're on like 3 podcasts, right?
I'm on 2 right now. So I have the Brilliantly Dumb Show, which is me and my friend Robbie Berger, and then my other friend who's actually a Bears fan. We don't talk about that too much, but the funny thing is we have a funny dynamic because me and the Bears fan we go at it all the time, and then my other buddy just kind of stands back and just laughs and kind of comments on it because we always butt heads. So we have that one. It's called the Brilliantly Dumb Show, and then I have another podcast which is called The Sportsman, and it's that's very sports oriented. So that's a newer podcast. So we're still trying to grow that. It's me and my friend Neil. We call him the Big Ticket, and we just kind of dive into everyday sports. What's happening in the world of sports. We cover a wide variety of basketball, football. Obviously, season is what we talk about the most. And when we in football season, I talk about the Packers constantly because it's something that I just truly love. Anybody who follows me will also see like after the Packers lost to the 49ers, I went on a fucking huge rant. I just, I just lost my shit, and Barstool Big Cat reshared it, and a bunch of different people thought it was just hysterical. So we, in the football season, we do talk on both podcasts about football, and I mean anybody who knows me knows how important the Packers team is to me. My mom's from Green Bay, Wisconsin, so growing up, we used to fly out every summer to Green Bay and go to the intramural games and go check out the practices. We had a friend who was the equipment manager for the Packers. His name was Red. And then my aunt used to be the seamstress. So she would help get us jerseys and, autographed Brett Favre hats and stuff. So I've been a Packers fan since I could walk, and for me, it's something I'm truly passionate about. Wish to God that we would have another Super Bowl in the last 10 years. But I mean, it is what it is. You kind of just, you support the team through good and through bad. And luckily we've had a lot of good and not so much bad, but I think this team's ready to go to the next level. I just want to see, I want to see what the organization does. And hopefully, in the next couple of years, we can get Aaron another championship.
Yeah, I'm hoping this year. Yeah, that Niners game was rough. I was there, like the best seats I ever had in my life.
Really?
Like second row, like corner of the end zone. I
Wow.
was hammered. I was lit. I saved a Niners fan that day
It looked
because
cold too.
actually, dude, I was bundled up, right? Like more than bundled up I've ever been in my life. I don't know why I'm saying bundled up like I'm a toddler, but I was like just layered up. I had all types of hand warmers, and I had electric hand warmers or battery operated. I had all this stuff. But once the game started, like I didn't have any. I wasn't even wearing gloves. Once you're in there, it's
The
like you're
adrenaline and
so
everything.
jacked up. Like outside before the game, I had a beer freeze in my hand. That's how I knew I was drinking too slow. So I
Oh,
started taking them back. But I didn't expect the Packers to lose. I thought in my mind there was no way. It was
I
like a
didn't think there
party.
was any way that we
Yeah.
could lose. when we stopped them on fourth down, and we got the ball back, and there was like no hardly any time left in the game. I said, "That's it, we won." And even like I was surprised the first drive of the game, the Packers looked so dominant. They went down and scored with ease, and then the defense looked amazing. I was like, it'd be hard pressed to find a way that we're going to lose this game. And then, of course, our special team stepped up and
Yeah.
said, let us take the ball here, and we'll drop it for you guys." But I mean, yeah, I truly did not expect that to be a loss. And it's tough because I think like people who don't understand it, you probably get it as well. When you're a Packers fan, people say like, "Why are you complaining? You guys have won your division almost every year. You have the two-time reigning MVP. You've been to NFC championships how many years in the last 5 years? And you won a Super Bowl. You had Brett Favre. You had Aaron Rodgers." I make the claim that if you have a team that is that good, it's almost worse to me to watch them not win the Super Bowl and not get to that next level than if you're cheering for a team that just has no chance to begin with. And for me, I'm of the nature that like, we have a generational talent in Aaron Rodgers. We had a generational talent in Brett Favre. We saw the mistakes we made with Ted Thompson or with the previous management and only getting Brett one Super Bowl. Luckily, he was there twice. They didn't beat the Broncos. And I still have nightmares about that fucking
Yeah.
helicopter. But bottom line is he only had one Super Bowl, and we're remaking our same mistakes with Aaron. And it's like, we might not have another Aaron Rodgers after he leaves for the next 25 years. I mean, it's really like we're just spoiled to see that we've had, 1A, 1B. And, I used to be a huge Favre fan. And when Aaron came, I wasn't like super thrilled about it until I saw how good he was. And for me, I look at a team like the Rams, and they've kind of gone like all in mentality. And they said, you know what, we're going to leverage our next 5 years in order to win a Super Bowl now because the time is now. There's not a team like the Patriots with Brady. There's not a team that's just dominant right now that's going to win every single year. So we're going to make our move and try to win now. And for me, I just think that should be the Packers mentality. Like they should be going out and doing whatever they can and trading future first round picks. And like for me, if we won the Super Bowl this year or next year, I would be fine. And I don't know, I'm interested to know what your take is, but I would be okay with knowing the next 5 years down the road, we're not going to be good because I can say, you know what, we won another Super Bowl. We got Aaron to 2, and now Aaron can be in in contention for being at least in discussion of one of the best of all time. And people love to
Yeah.
say, well, he hasn't won, he hasn't done this, he's in, the playoffs. And that's my mentality. I don't know. Maybe not everybody shares that same point of view for me, but I just want to see them win. I think they could do it. And I don't think we're that far away. I think it's a few pieces, a few different things. The defense is going to be amazing this year. It's just, I don't know. What are your thoughts on it, Matt?
Yeah, I think like it's always been like the Packers, like even when in the Favre days, like they had some trash defenses, going to the playoffs, 4th and 26 situations. Like there's always like been one piece missing. Like Rodgers, the whole defense has always been sketchy. Not now, but like going back to 2000, after the Super Bowl, really the defense got sketchy. Now the defense is good. Like I love this, especially now. But even last year, like in that Niners game, like you said, the defense did their job.
They
Special
didn't allow a
teams,
touchdown.
yeah, special teams. I don't think that there's ever been a worse special teams in a playoff game. It's like the football gods are like, hey, we're gonna let you be really good, but we're not gonna let you win anymore. Like
It's
it's
like
I
always
explain it like this.
bridesmaid, never a bride kind of
Yeah.
mentality. You know what I mean? And I look back at the year we won the Super Bowl, and that was the year I thought we had no chance.
Oh
We
yeah,
barely made the playoffs that year, and we had to play the Eagles. We had to play we had to go in and beat some teams. The Bears that year, I think that was the first year the Bears were unbelievable. Like, but I mean, I didn't think that we were going to do it. In the last 2-3 years, I really felt like, okay, this is our year. Like we look set. I feel like this year, and correct me if if you think I'm wrong, I think we could have a top 10 defense on our hands.
Oh yeah.
Then it's like let's make sure like with the ground and pound with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, I think that brings a whole different element where we don't need to rely on Rodgers as much. So hopefully with the defense being as good as they possibly can be, you have Rasul Douglas, you have Jair Alexander, Stokes is only going to get better. You have Amos in the back. Like I feel like you have a great secondary. I feel like now if we can get the line to be good, which is what they focused on in the, getting those 2 first round picks, I think we could be a dominant force. Kenny Clark's going to still be really good. So now it's just to me like who's going to step up on offense with Devontae gone, like cuz I don't know if Lazard can do it. I'm glad that we went out and we made a move when we did because I was nervous. I talked to you about this
Yeah.
in the draft and I, not getting a receiver the first couple days. I was like, "Oh my god, what's going to happen?" So hopefully, with him coming in, I think he could be really good. Lazard, hopefully. I think Tanyan needs to be good this year. I think Tanyan could be an X factor with Aaron, and he hasn't had a tight end who could be that good for a long time. I think he's got a lot of potential, but I don't know. A lot of people are saying, do you bring in Julio? Do you bring in Odell Beckham? I don't know if that's necessarily the play. I don't know. I would have loved to see them do something like they did, like the Eagles did, and bring in a guy like AJ Brown. I think would be unbelievable. But I don't know. I could be wrong. At this point, I'm just going to sit back. I'm not going to say much. I'm just going to try to hopefully enjoy another good Packers season, and hopefully, I think LaFleur is a really good coach. I think he he takes the onus when there's mistakes made, and that to me shows a sign that he's got the maturity to be a coach who could be, among the best in the league. And I just feel like I don't know. I feel like we could still be very good this year. I just don't know what to expect.
Yeah, I've been saying, like, I put on Twitter, I said this could be the best defense some Packer fans have ever seen, and
Yeah.
like a lot of people didn't like that because like, I'm not saying that but this is gonna be better than '96. Obviously, Reggie White, all the guys like that was a ridiculous
Gilbert
defense.
Brown and
Yeah, like
Leroy
those guys were
Butler.
monsters. But like I think this defense can be really good. Kenny Clark got help. They drafted. It depends how these guys that they draft can turn out. I'm not a college guy, so like I have no expertise to be like, oh, this guy's gonna be good. I'm just like the most optimistic dude that I think everyone is gonna be good. They draft everyone they drafted. But
Yeah.
I think Rashawn Gary is gonna ball out this year. I got a chance to meet him. I did a we're both sponsored by Quick Trip,
Okay.
and so I did a video shoot with him for like a little social media video thing, and just talking to him for a few minutes, like he is the most like I mean, I'm sure all players are like this, but like his grind is like he was like, all right, let's go. I gotta go practice. And like they're like eating pizza. It was a pizza review or not review, but like pizza was in a video skit. And he was like, I can't be eating all this pizza. Let's get this in the first shot. I'm gonna look like this guy pretty quick. But I just feel like he's the most hardest working dude.
Yeah.
And then that you watch us play, like he's jumping over guys, just grabbing jerseys, just doing everything it takes to get. I think he's going to step up, take another step. Preston Smith is my guy. I think this pass rush can be ridiculous. Like I said, with Kenny Clark getting help, Jair, hopefully, obviously, he had an injury. Hopefully, that's no like lingering things with that. Uh, if this secondary is as good as I think it could be, and the front is, then like this defense, it could be special, special.
What's the name of the guy they brought in last year? He was our best linebacker. I forget his name now.
Oh yeah, I don't know how I forget his name, but
They
man,
just
this
re-signed him. He's gonna be
yeah,
really, really
yeah.
good. And then Rasul Douglas, they brought off the practice squad, and he just came off. So I mean, they made some good moves, and I think like re-signing both of those guys is going to be beneficial. And I think like we have significant pieces on the defense. I think it would be nice because for the longest time it seems like Aaron has had to carry this team on his back.
Yeah,
And now
I
to
don't think it'll
finally
be.
maybe have a defense that can maybe make some plays and get turnovers and make stops, that'll be nice. Hopefully our hopefully our special teams is better than last year because I find it hard to believe you could be worse. I mean, you could have no special teams. We probably would have been better than we had with the special teams we had.
I think the special teams will be better. That they hired that guy from the Raiders,
Yes.
a new
The
defensive
interim coach,
coordinator.
yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people were saying that he could have been a head coach, or at least possibly if he'd have held, not signed so quick. So like I'm hoping like everyone's talking how great he is that he could turn his defense, their special teams around. I think it's kind of like the Lions. Like every coach that goes in the Lions talk about changing the culture. I feel like that's how the special teams has to be. Like
Yeah.
change the culture. Like get like I don't know what they were doing. Like I'm not no expert watching film but but whatever they were doing, it was wrong. It's kind of
It
like
was
me loading the
clearly wrong.
dishwasher. My wife just tells me, I don't know what you did, but that's not right. it's, it's
Now, Matt, are you out in Wisconsin? Are you out in Green Bay or where are you
yeah,
stationed?
I'm about a half hour north of Green Bay. I grew up in Green Bay, but when I got kids, I moved up north a little bit. But yeah, I'm about 30 minutes from Lambeau.
And do you go to many games or do you prefer just watching it at home? Like,
Uh, I last year, I forget how many I went to. In 2019, I went to 4. I was 4-0. I was excited about that.
Mhm.
Last year, I went to a bunch, but a lot of times people just ask me like, "Hey, you wanna go to a game? I got a ticket. I'll go," and then I just make a friend that day. I just go, but, like, for my when I don't go to a game, I do a live stream where I watch the game, and then people watch me watch the game for some reason.
That's fun, that's enjoyable.
Oh, it is. It's so fun 'cause it's like you're watching a game with, a bunch of your friends, you know,
Yeah,
they're on there. I got a scoreboard, that's why this TV is right here. This is like I put the score on there.
yeah.
One of my high school friends, like, set me up, so I have, like, a little computer thing that I can, put a score on there. But, yeah, that's what I do for, like, for the games.
That's funny. We just signed a deal with a company called Prize Picks. They do props bets and different things like that. And one of the things they want us to do is they want us to do more live streams when we watch the football games because we get so animated. Like if like I said with the cart when we're driving on the golf course, it's the same thing. If you just put a camera in the living room and watch how animated we get when we're making our bets and you have your fantasy football going on and then you have the Packers playing. It's like all these things are happening and it's just medlem, it's just mayhem, and everybody's just getting after it, and it would be just hysterical just to watch as a fly on the wall. So I think that's the same thing we're gonna start doing very often. I haven't been to a Packers game in a long time. I
You
went.
should go this next season. Me and you, we'll roll up on
Yeah, I
one.
think I think this year is going to be the year now that I don't have my job now. I quit my job, so that I'm doing this full time. I have the luxury now. If I want to just go and go to a game or go do something, I can do that now. Whereas before, I could never do that. You know what I mean? With my job, it was just not possible. But I think for sure I got to go to at least one game this year. My uncles have some season tickets over there, so I can get tickets pretty easily. But I think it'd just be really cool just to, the last time I went to a game was probably like in 2018, 2017. We went to a Lions game when we played the Lions and we won, and it was my first time being at a like regular season game. Like I'd gone to exhibition games and intramural games and stuff like that, but never a regular season game. And the feeling that you get walking to the tailgate, walking to the stadium from the
Yeah.
tailgate is like it's amazing because for me, I'm most common with being, a fan in an away stadium. So like I'm from Vancouver, Canada. So I used to go to a lot of Seahawks games. By the way, the Seahawks fans are the worst fucking fans in the world. I could not tell you a team that I hate more than the Seattle Seahawks. But going to Seahawks games, and then when playoffs happen, I went to the game that they won in Dallas when Aaron Rodgers hit Jared Cook on the end, and then
Alright.
Crosby hit that. I had like I think fifth row, 50-yard line seats, which was amazing. But anytime I'm going to the game, I'm like wearing my jersey, I'm wearing my green and gold, and I'm stoked. But you're like you're not in the masses, or you know what I mean? Like you're going up against somebody else's team. And when I went to the Packers game for the first time, I looked around and I saw all these people wearing green and gold and cheese heads. And I was
Yeah.
like, man, it feels like I'm at home right now. Like I've never felt this before. Like we're the majority right now. I'm not the minority. Like I'm going to the game and I'm like high-fiving people. And it was just so much fun. Like to be there. I went into the memorabilia store. I bought a Jordy Nelson authentic jersey, and I was I was just on a high the whole time. And Lambeau is just such an amazing experience to be there. And then, like when the players are running on the field and they do the national anthem and the fucking jets fly over, I was just like so amped up. It was so awesome. I don't know how I haven't done this more. So this year,
Yeah.
I definitely have to come out at least for one game, maybe a couple. We'll see, but it's an experience unlike any. And I tell people all the time, like I've been to a bunch of different stadiums, and to me, obviously, I'm biased because I'm a Packers fan, but just the history that is entrenched within Lambeau, it's just a special place to watch the game.
Dude, it is, like, I've been to a lot of games, like, growing up. Well, I wouldn't say a lot because I didn't go to a lot, like, as a kid, but, like, as an adult or, like, as now, like, social media stuff is happening, like, people recognize me. So when I go to a Packer game, it's like I'm with, like, a bunch of friends because people just come up to me like, "Hey, Matt, go Pack home." We talk about the Packers or whatever, and going to Lambeau is, like, so I don't know. I can't even explain it. I'm going to a Brewer game tomorrow.
Are you
I'm going
really?
Yeah, I'm going to Milwaukee tomorrow. Uh, I've been to Brewer games are really fun too. Like it's different in football because it's kind of chill. You drink
Yeah.
beer, you watch. It's a good time. Yeah, but going to Lambeau Field, like, and I know so many Packer fans who I talk to, like, from Twitter and Instagram, all the so we, like, meet up, and we'll have a drink before the game. I've been to a few games with, like, a couple of guys. I don't think that I've ever like, anything is more fun than going to Lambeau Field, like, for a game. I don't care if it's preseason, like, preseason, I get lit. I tell people that. Preseason preseason is preseason for me too, for fans too. We need a little bit
Yeah.
of training. I remember going to a preseason game like a couple years ago. I got so drunk that I was like, whenever I go to the bathroom, I was like stumbling, and there was a guy watching the game with his kid. So I texted my wife, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm not coming back because there's a kid next to us, and obviously I'm tanked. I don't want to ruin their experience." And so I just sat out in the concessions, got more lit,
I
gave them
feel
a
like
little
for
more.
preseason, like the first quarter is kind of cool, and then after that, it's like it's just a free for all.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, it's just a party.
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody's just getting after it and having fun. So, yeah, no, if I come down, we'll have to connect. We'll have to definitely go and get a couple cold ones for sure.
Oh,
So,
yeah, for sure.
now, are you a Bucks fan too? Because that's got to be
Yeah.
fun. I know they
I'm
just
a
lost, but they just won the last year, and it's super good team having Giannis. So it's probably been a fun time to be be in that area and support that team too. No.
yeah, I'm a Bucks fan, but I'm not, like, a diehard basketball fan. So, like, when they won that championship, I told everyone, like, "I'm not claiming this because I'm not, like, a diehard. I haven't been yelling about the Bucks for all these years, so I'm not gonna
Yeah.
jump on the bandwagon," but I've always supported them. Just like the Brewers, I'm not a huge baseball or basketball guy, like, I am football. But I still support him. I still watch, Bucks games. My kid's a huge, huge Bucks fan. I used to tell him like, "Hey, I'm gonna talk about the Bucks a little bit. Tell me something smart I could say." Because he's a lot more knowledgeable than I am. But yeah, it's awesome. Like for Wisconsin, for Milwaukee, to have Giannis is just ridiculous. Like that dude, it's crazy because when he came up and he got drafted, like nobody would say, "Hey, this guy is gonna be one of the best players in the league or the best, whatever how people rank him."
Yeah.
And he just like grew. Like I don't understand how they draft these basketball players if he comes in that's not want to say small, but you know,
Yeah.
not what he is now. And then he just like
He's a
grew into like
monster.
a massive human. And he's such a good dude. Like you watch his interviews, he's telling jokes. Like I absolutely love that dude.
Yeah, he's a real one. So, I mean, the basketball is fun to watch, but nothing compares to football. I'm sure you would have given the Bucks championship in a heartbeat. Two or three of them if they won a couple years in a row for one Packers Super Bowl. So, tell me, do you think like realistically, do you think before Aaron leaves, do you think that we'll have a shot to win another Super Bowl? Like, if you're being truly honest, what do you think?
I do because I think first of all, I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna lift I Lazard, like all these guys. Like I don't know how the wide receivers, because obviously that's probably like the not so great. The thing everyone's worried about. But Aaron Rodgers is going to lift guys up. So Devontae Adams got all the looks.
Yeah,
So now the other guys are going to get looks, and we don't know what Watson's going to do, like how much he's going to get. Like rookies, like you never know. He could be one of the great rookies of this draft class, or he could maybe take a year to really get moving. But I think
yeah,
Rodgers is going to elevate everyone. Like I say, I think this defense is going to be special, even if they're not like as special as I think. Like where I'm all like optimistic about it,
hmm,
definitely top 10, top 5 defense. I think that they can be. If the special teams just doesn't lose games, like they don't got to return kickoffs for touchdowns. They don't got to block everything that they see. Just don't lose the game. Don't fumble the ball. Don't let blocks, and all this craziness happen. Just be functional. Uh, I think that they have a shot. Brady coming back, obviously, like, but I was saying this the other day. I was like, Brady's talking about like he's gonna go work for Fox. Maybe he's thinking ahead. You know what I mean? Because Brady's
yeah.
Brady. So like the Bucks are gonna be a thing. The Rams are gonna be a thing. I'm not
The
sure about the
Rams are going to be
Niners.
really good. I mean, and the Niners are still solid. I think. I mean, like they're just very well coached, and their defense is no joke. When Bosa's playing, he's dominant. So I don't know. I think the nice thing is our division is still pretty weak.
Yeah.
I think that no disrespect to anybody else, but I just think the Packers are still the best team in that division. Will you give
Dude, I
Rodgers?
disrespect them heavy.
I know you do. I'm just saying, like, to all those other people, I really like the thing is I don't really have anything against I don't have anything against the Lions because I don't remember the
Yeah,
last
I
time
know.
they were even relevant. I do think that they're getting better. I think they're on the up and coming, but I don't have anything against them. When it comes to the Bears, it's pretty much the same thing. We've dominated that matchup for the last decade, I feel like. So, aside from, when they were good with Urlacher and whatever, that was seems like a lifetime ago. The Bears don't really strike fear in me. It's the Vikings are the most hated team that I have by far in that division. And I still think that, with Kirk Cousins, they're just like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. He looks really good one drive, and the next drive, he's absolutely abysmal. So I think that we're going to win the division, which is going to give us at least one home playoff game this year. And, I think I actually think, and tell me what if you agree or not, but I actually think sometimes flying under the radar is beneficial for the Green Bay Packers. I think when there's like the front runners, like expected to win, a best team, one of the best teams in the league in the regular season, there's all this pressure, and for whatever reason, they don't live up to it. The years that we've seen them in the past when they've been at their best is when they kind of flew under the radar. They got hot at the right time, kind of just made into the playoffs, and nobody really gave them a chance. And they kind of exceeded as underdogs, and as opposed to like being the front runners that everybody expect to win, and they kind of underperform or they perform down to their opponent. I think that might play into their hands a little bit this year.
Yeah, dude, I've been saying this like since forever. Uh, Not just the Packers, but like look at the Giants teams that won a Super Bowl. The Packers when they won
Yeah.
45. I think those teams, a lot of those teams, they start the playoffs week 15 or 14. Like they got to win to get in. They get hyped, they get hot, and then they go on a roll because like I don't think like don't lose on purpose. You don't have the number one seed, but like when you have the number one seeds, I think sometimes like having that week off maybe has something to do it. Maybe I don't know what it is because I'm not a player. I've
Yeah.
never played an athletic sport in my life, but something happens because the Packers have been in that spot. So I think it's almost better. Like I don't know what seed is right, but like not having a buy and not being so like we're the best damn thing ever happened. But like when you have
Yeah.
to fight, and I think it's all about getting hot. No matter how that happens, if you get hot at the end, like so many teams, like if you look back at Super Bowl winners, like the Giants, I mean, it's not every year, but there's a lot of years where a team wins the Super Bowl. Like you said, in Super Bowl 45, no one thought the Packers would win a Super Bowl. I mean, I'm the cockiest Packer fan there is, and I wasn't yelling. I don't know what I was doing back then, but I wasn't I wasn't doing social media stuff. I was on Twitter. I remember
Yeah.
that. That's when I first got on Twitter back then. But yeah, no one really thought the Packers were like that great almighty team. It's just they got hot. But I think that whenever you have Aaron Rodgers, I don't care what
Yeah.
anyone says. Same thing with Brady and Peyton Manning and Drew Brees. Well, Drew Brees had some sluggish teams, but obviously those type of quarterbacks, I think you
Generational
never
talent.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Russell
never know.
Wilson's another guy who I think can win a game single-handedly. Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I think there's going to be players who haven't had, like you said, and you made a good point. Devontae got like a majority of the looks. So a lot of other guys have not been tested. One of the guys who I feel like could be an impact player and really just hasn't had many reps is Amari Rogers. And I think he's a playmaker. I think he's a guy who can be shifty. He could play out of the slot like a Randall Cobb kind of thing. And I think that, you know, with Aaron, what you see is if you demonstrate that you can rise to the challenge, if he gives the ball, if he looks your way and throws the ball to you and you make plays, he'll keep throwing the ball to you. Like
Yeah,
he's a guy, he's not like, oh, this guy's below me, he's not good, or this guy, like he will fire it to whoever is open and whoever has an opportunity to make a play. And I think if you start to develop that trust with Aaron, I mean, you'll see receivers like, I mean, just absolutely explode. I mean, and not to take away from receivers, but like look at Greg Jennings when he left the Packers. He went to the
yeah,
Vikings, and what happened? He
yeah.
was like, I'm
Gone.
not saying Devontae Adams isn't going to have an unbelievable year this year because I think he is just an incredible talent, but I definitely think he's not going to find it nearly as easily like getting back shoulder throws like right in his breadbasket from Aaron, where Carr is still a competent quarterback, but I think Aaron is just the kind of guy that if it's next man up mentality, and I think he kind of realizes that somebody's got to make a play. So I think the Robert Tonyans, I think Lazard needs to show that he can step up and be the guy, because like you said, Watson's a rookie, so like there's no
Yeah, you can't
expectation that
have.
he's going to be the guy to really lead the charge. So it's going to be these other guys. I think Aaron Jones is a kind of a security blanket, kind of the way that Alvin Kamara is with the New Orleans Saints. And I think you're going to see him catch a lot of balls out of the backfield where Aaron just doesn't have somebody open. So establishing trust and showing that they can kind of build something. You never know. And I think then hopefully I'd like to see them at some point before the trade deadline go out and get somebody. Go get
Yeah,
somebody,
even
even a
if it's like
rental.
a middle, yeah, even if it's a middle of the road kind of guy, it doesn't have to be like you want it to be like. I think it's more about styles. Like Lazard is a really good blocking wide receiver. He's
Yeah.
a good slot guy. He can get open, but like you, I don't know. I'm not no guru of wide receivers, but you want someone that has like a style, someone tall, someone who can get open, someone who can jump and get the ball. I don't know who that person is. Like a lot of names are thrown out there, but
I do think.
but like I
Go
was gonna
ahead.
say, like, but like you mentioned, Aaron Jones. Like Aaron Jones can catch, so they
Yes.
can like move him out into the slot, like not start him there, start him in the backfield, move him out, and put him in good matchups. Like Aaron Jones, he could. I think he could be a receiver if he really wanted to.
He's an underappreciated
Yeah,
talent. And by the way, don't sleep on Sammy Watkins. I'm not saying that he's going to be unbelievable, but a lot of people are like, why are you going to get? I'll be honest, for the price tag that we got him at, which is what, a year for $4 million, we're really not that
yeah,
invested. The guy has shown in the past that he has big play potential. And the expectation levels, the bar is set pretty low. The guy has pretty good hands. I feel like if he establishes something with Aaron, he could be a deep threat that could end up making some big time plays throughout the year. I'm not saying that he's going to be like a Pro Bowler or he's going to be like unbelievable, but he is competent. He's a guy who can make big plays. So you mix in a vet like that, and some of these young
yeah,
guys, Watson, I think could. I mean, you never know. Look at Justin Jefferson a couple of years ago. I mean, this guy came out of nowhere. I wanted the Packers to draft him. They didn't, but that's neither here nor there. But I mean, in the last couple of years, he's been in the league. He's become one of the best talents
yeah.
by far, I'd
Baller.
say, from a receiver standpoint, to where I almost would say that in the next 5 years, he's probably going to be, a top 5 receiver in the league. No questions asked. He's already probably top 10 right now. So you never know. Maybe Watson really kind of progresses quick. He's a big body, fast. His 40s, really good. And, I think it's going to be a transition for rookies when you come into the league. It's a big step. It's a big transition. So I for the amount of shit that I've talked about the Packers organization not doing anything, I do think that we're in a much better position than we lead on. I'm excited for the season. I can't start soon enough.
Yeah, so that's thing. Like with me, I'm the most optimistic. Like
You're really optimistic. Yeah. I'm
I've been
super
called like the
negative
yeah,
normally.
yeah. So I think like the middle is probably true. Like, cause I've been called cheerleader. I've been called because I'm just a positive guy. Like, but like I get like if the pack like when the Packers lost to the Niners, I blamed Rodgers and people were like I didn't blame him, but I gave him a little bit of slack because the offense has to score more points in a
Yeah.
playoff game at
You're not
home. Like
wrong.
I wasn't like trash him like oh he's a piece of crap and I cut him, but like I was like you got that if you get the credit for 45, 50 points and you score 10, people are gonna look at you. But like you were talking about Amari Rogers. I was talking about this earlier and people gave me a lot of crap. I think Amari Rogers could pop off. Like he was a rookie. Randall Cobb, I think being in his corner is huge because he knew him growing up. I think that's always helpful. The Aaron Rodgers is going to elevate these guys, and like I said, Devonta Adams got all the looks, which he should have. He's one of the best, maybe wide receiver in the league, depending what team you root for. But
I mean, I
he,
think Cooper Cup might be better,
yeah,
but
he's definitely
he's
like
top
got that.
3. I think,
Yeah,
Hopkins, him, and Cooper Cup are
yeah.
in the
Whoever
top
you
3.
rank them, those guys. But like, so
Tyreek Hill
Devontae
too.
is going to get all those looks. So now the Packers were 7-0 without Devontae Adams, and it's not to say they don't need him and everything. They'll be better without him, but to say that they can win. I think LaFleur's offense is kind of set up to like spread the ball around and do all types of stuff. But when you have a Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, what are you going to do? You got to give him the ball. You have one of the best in the league at both positions. So now I think that they can change stuff up. It's not so predictable. I think sometimes like you force that ball to Devontae, he's going to catch it. But now when you get to the playoffs and you get to these really good defenses, they kind of know how to
Yeah.
squander that a little bit. I think you're in trouble. So now if they're spreading it around, nobody kind of knows what they're going to do.
I think
Might be
this year could
beneficial.
be a career year for AJ Dillon too. I think he's such a bruising back. When he left the game against the 49ers, I really think that was one of the turning points where, we became one dimensional. So like we couldn't, I think when you have a guy like that who's in the backfield, you have to keep defenses honest. They have to keep people in the box, right? Like you can't just spread out and double up on somebody
Yeah.
because you can run the ball right down their throats. And I think with him getting a little bit more experience in the offseason and just like kind of feeling himself a little bit more and being healthy and going out there, I think this year between that 1-2 punch, I think they can really be one of the better running games in the league, no questions asked. And if you get that running game going where he can just start running downhill and just start, just absolutely pile driving through people, it's going to open up the play action, which Aaron is great at. It's going to open up a lot, and you're going to have receivers start to get open. So I think like the development of AJ Dillon in terms of this overall success to this team is so essential, and really establishing the running game, early in the season that teams know, like, listen, you have got to play them honest. You cannot, and I think what will happen is they're probably going to see a lot of teams probably stack the box a lot more because they're going to think, we don't have the receivers to beat them. And that's when you give Aaron Rodgers an opportunity, like you said,
Yeah.
he's the guy who can burn you.
And then that is like, if I'm being honest, one of the things that worry me is like games where guys don't get open, right? Where
Yeah.
like they're playing a team, they just can't get open, and that is when like the running game will help. Like you said, like if we're running the ball successfully, like AJ Dillon is just a monster. Like his legs are like bigger than my gut, and that's saying something. And so him and Aaron Jones, I think are monsters. Like you said, so guys are gonna sack the box, and that'll give guys opportunity to get open. Uh, like I say, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. Like if someone's open, like he's gonna find. And then that's the thing, like you mentioned with Devontae Adams going to the Raiders, and then no disrespect to Derek Carr, even though I just heavily disrespected his brother on my
Yeah,
Instagram.
you just trashed his brother 20 minutes ago.
But I think Derek Carr is a good quarterback, but he's not Aaron Rodgers. So I like Aaron Rodgers is a guy, he can put the ball exactly where he wants it to go. Well, you could have the fanciest wide receiver ever. Like it's kind of like having a Ferrari with no tires. Yeah, it looks nice, but like you really can't do much with it.
Or no
I'm not
breaks.
saying that Derek Carr is like no tires. I think he's a functional quarterback. He's good. We'll see. I think he'll probably Devontae's going to elevate him this year. But Aaron Rodgers elevates everyone. So I don't know. I think that the guys are going to do their job. Aaron Rodgers is going to make them better. Uh,
By the way,
I'm pretty confident he'll be all right.
that AFC West division this year is going to be potentially the best division in football. I mean, and now you got Russell Wilson going to the Broncos. You have the Chargers, who are only going to be better this year, and Herbert looks like he's going to be just a top tier quarterback for years. And then you have, you have so many. The Kansas City is not going anywhere. They're not changing.
No.
And then the Raiders are a team that I think are on the up and coming, and they look really good. So that is going to be a fun division to watch. Obviously, we're in the NFC, so it doesn't really impact us. But I just think
Yeah.
it's going to be very interesting to see who comes out, because that is going to be a great division in football this year.
Yeah, I hate the Broncos. Like
Do you really?
yeah, and not because like Super Bowl 32, I kind of like got over that like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, it
And
takes a
then
while to get over.
yeah, but then they tried to steal my quarterback and all their fans. I'm very interactive with fan bases. I always say this, I don't trash teams, I trash fan bases. And Bronco fans were coming at me hard, like, oh, we're getting Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah, I heard
the
that
last
all
two
over.
years. So I went at it with Bronco fans. Now they got Russell Wilson, so they can shut up. You got your quarterback. You're good luck because, like you said, that whole AFC is just ridiculous. Like I don't know that is really gonna be fun to watch. It's interesting to see like what the Bengals are gonna do. Can
Well,
Joe
yeah, the
Burrow and the
AFC,
boys
yeah.
get back? Yeah, it's
The AFC North is another good division. I mean, Lamar Jackson with the Ravens, and then Joe Burrow looked unbelievable. And then the Steelers, I don't know how Pickett's going to do with them, but there's just it's going to be. I think the AFC is stronger than the NFC for
oh yeah,
last year for the last couple of years, where we didn't see that as the case for the latter part of the decade. The NFC was always the powerhouse, but yeah, I don't know. I think the Broncos are like they've been overrated for how many of the
Yeah.
last so many years. People are like, oh yeah, last year I had to listen to this joke fucking Colin Coward saying, and even this year, oh, the Broncos are going to be the new team. They got this and that, and they don't even make the playoffs. And it's like, bro, like like I don't. And same thing this year. He's overhyped. They're overhyped every year. And the
Yeah.
last, like I feel like the last 5 years at least, maybe closer to 10 years, they've been irrelevant. They really have just done nothing. And it's just every year, it's like, oh, this is the Broncos year. They got such a good defense, and then they got this, and they got Jerry Jeudy, and they got, and I just don't, I don't know. I'm not hot on the Broncos at all either. But the AFC is going to be tough to the point where I think like, last year I was more worried. I was kind of over projecting, thinking that we were going to get out of the NFC, and it's like, well, who are we going to face? We're going to face the Chiefs, or who we get, and it's like,
Yeah.
I got ahead of myself, and we didn't even fucking win our first playoff game,
The
unfortunately.
the thing with me is like whenever Cowherd or like Skip Bayless or one of these
Skip, I
like
don't even watch anymore.
oh
This
no, I
guy's a
don't.
fucking. He just does stuff for clickbait, and he just goes at Rogers. He goes at LeBron because he knows that people will watch, because it's just so absurd to say someone like that is overrated or not good. And then the Brady favorites. I've stopped watching him because my blood pressure would significantly increase after days when I watched him in the morning. It would like end up leading to me having a worse day in general after watching that.
Dude, I had to mute him on Twitter because I would just go at him. And like I was like, this
Would he
isn't good
respond
for
to you?
my
Did he ever
life.
respond to you?
No. He doesn't
Yeah.
respond to anyone really.
He
But
just puts Cowboy shit
dude,
up there
and
the whole.
that's what it is. Like whenever these guys like Skip, Cowherd, whenever they talk good about a team, like I know that team is trash. That team isn't doing anything because they say the opposite, I believe, of what they think. Like I don't like whatever the Bears, but I think Justin Fields, I don't think that was a horrible pick. We'll see like how it turns out. But like they just say stuff like Aaron Rodgers is bad and this is not, and it's just like I don't know. It just drives me nuts. It's like even hard to say the words like David Carr saying that the Packers won't win 8 games. There's nobody in the history, or not in the history, but any analyst is saying the Packers won't win 8 games. They played the Lions twice, they played the Vikings twice, and the Bears twice. I'm not saying they're going to win all those games, but no one would be stunned if they did. The Vikings they might split, even the Bears maybe.
I
But
think
like,
if you look at that, out of those 6 games, we realistically easily win 4 out of 6.
yeah, yeah, I would say at least because I think that they'll probably sweep the Lions, and they could split the Bears and the Vikings.
Although I
They
will
all
say the
play.
Lions
The,
are on the up
the
and coming.
Lions, yeah, the Lions play the Packers tough. Like they come to play.
Well, because a
So
lot of the times the Lions aren't, going to be making the playoffs. They're not, so games against the Packers, that to them is like their Super Bowl almost. My
yeah,
mom always says like a division game against some of these teams, even though they're not good teams, they play like they want to beat the Packers because there's
yeah.
bad blood there. They don't like them. It's a divisional game. There's, emotions are high. And I actually think I actually like the Lions. Like, I think they're actually like trying to turn around that franchise. I think they had a great draft this year, and I think that obviously they lost Stafford, and they got Goff now, which is not great, but like they have some pieces there that I think could be good in the next 5-10 years. I think they're on the turnaround.
Yeah, it
But
seems like they're trying now to like do better.
well,
Like it
for a
seemed like
while, it
for a
looked
lot
like
of
they
years,
couldn't
like
win a game.
yeah, from like the front office point of view, stand or whatever, it seemed like they weren't even trying. Like the owners were just like, yeah, we don't care, we make cars, and and, and then like they didn't care. Like they didn't fire no one. They would suck forever. GMs, Matt Millen was it like
Yeah.
forever? He's like the worst GM. Like I do better in Madden, and I suck at Madden. And but like now, I think that they're trying. They got Jamal Williams over there, who I love Jamal Williams. He's like one of my
Yeah.
favorite people. Like he's so funny, and I think he's a good running back. But yeah, I don't trash the Lions. Like if you look at all my Instagram or wherever, I'll trash the Vikings and the Bears. I never talk about Lion fans like message me and thank me. They're like, I appreciate you not trashing my team. But it's like, how can you trash
No, you gotta have
you know
some
what I mean?
sympathy. You have to have some
Yeah.
sympathy to, I respect anybody who's been a fan of like the Lions
Yep.
or the Browns or even the Bengals, to be honest. I mean, they were bad. They were called the Bungles. They were so bad for so many
Yeah.
years. It's nice to see that they had a great year last year, and I was rooting for them to kind of win because they hadn't been in the playoffs. And imagine not making the playoffs for 31 years.
And then still going hard. Like I think I would too. Like, a lot of Packer fans did for a lot of 30 years or whatever. They didn't do nothing. But like, yeah, like Lion fans, Browns, the Bengals, like like the Bengals last year. That's why I was rooting for them in the Super Bowl. I was like, those fans deserve it so much. Like, if
Yeah.
they're true fans, they're ride or die. They were there from the beginning. Like, you just
Or
deserve it.
even
That's
the
why I
Jets.
don't.
The Jets, Robbie's a Jets fan, and like by the midpoint, by the middle of the season, he's cheering for them to lose so they get better draft picks because he knows they're not going to make the playoffs. So like to be a fan and to be committed to a team that at the start of the season has pretty much no shot at making the playoffs or being of any relevance. That takes a whole different breed of fan. That's like because I feel like there's so many bandwagon fans, dude. There are
Yeah,
so
big.
many.
Um,
Oh, I'm a Brady fan. Give me a
oh,
fucking break. That to me is the worst. It's like all these so-called Patriots fans, as soon as Brady left, became Buccaneers fans, and it's like there's one thing to cheer for a player. Like if Aaron would have left the team and gone somewhere else, I would have still rooted for him to be successful and be fun. But I would never stop cheering for the Green Bay Packers. That's
yeah.
my team. A player is part of the franchise. He is not the franchise. So for
Yep.
these people who they cheered for the Patriots when they had Brady, and then Brady goes over to the Bucks, and then they win the Super Bowl his first year, and all these fucking clowns are like, "Oh, I'm a Bucks fan." It's like, wait a second, you're not a Bucks fan. I saw you last year rocking Patriots
Yep.
gear and Brady stuff. And so there's so many people who just want to be on the winning side. There's a lot of bandwagon fans in the NFL. So when you find a franchise like we said that someone sticks with them through the thick and thin, to me, I give a tip of my cap to that person because you're a committed fan and you're not going to just do the easy route and go cheer for somebody else. And if the Packers suck for the next 20 years, well, you know what? For me, it's like a religion. I will never change
Yeah.
the fact that I root for the Packers. It would be sacrilegious to me for me to cheer for another team.
Well, like for me, like what I said, it's not a choice. Like if you're a real fan to any team, I'm from Green Bay. That doesn't make it anymore because I don't care where you're from or what team you root for. Like if your family taught you that, like your dad or your mom was a fan of whatever team, like it's inbred in you. Like I didn't have a choice. Like I didn't choose one day to be a Packer fan. Like they watched the Packers growing up, and if you were anything else, you were gonna be sleeping on the porch. And like it's just like in your blood. Like I couldn't just walk away from the Packers. But yeah,
Yeah.
I want to say something about the Patriot fans. Patriot fans, like I know that there's some good ones because I actually know a few Patriot fans, but like they never knew. Like if you're a 25-year-old Patriot fans, you never knew like losing. And like so
Yeah.
I don't know, like I don't know, maybe it's wrong of me, but I don't respect you as a fan as much as like even like a Browns fan who's been struggling and like just going to the games and wearing the stuff, the dog, they're barking, they're doing whatever they do. But like Patriot fans, they had Brady since forever. Like they were good most of their life or all of their life,
Yeah.
and like so now is the time to. I think the Patriots are still going to be all right. They got Bill Belichick. I think they got themselves a quarterback now.
Mac Jones
Uh,
is good.
yeah, yeah. So I think they're going to be all right. And I don't hate Patriot fans. It's just like the ones that jump. Like I like when Favre went to the Jets, I was all about it. Like I was supporting him. I was like, hey, good luck
I
with the
went to a game.
Jets. Yeah. I was watching. When he went to the Vikings, I changed my tune.
When he went to the Vikings, he was dead to me. I said, this guy can
Yeah.
kick rocks. But when he went to the Jets, same thing. I bought a jersey. It's the only non-Packers jersey in my entire life that I have ever bought was a Brett Favre Jets jersey. And I made the trip down to New York. This was like, I think 2006 or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, it was like 2008 probably because he was
2008 maybe.
yeah.
And we went to a game, and I remember Thomas Jones was on the team, and they blew up the Rams. And I watched the game, but it was like I was rooting for him, but I was still always going to be a Packers fan.
Yeah.
It was easier because he was in the AFC. When
Oh
he
yeah, when
came
they're
back to
the AFC,
the
yeah,
when he came back to the Vikings, it's like this guy doesn't get it. Like this guy,
yeah.
I was cheering against him every week.
Oh yeah, I tell people, I said, even if my kids didn't have my genes and they hadn't become an athlete, which they were screwed right out the gate. But if they would have went and they got drafted by the Bears or the Vikings, I would never have rooted for the Bears or the Vikings. I would have rooted for them and like got my
Yeah.
cut. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get my money. But it was the same thing with Favre. Like Favre was to me was like in those days, Favre was like family. Like everyone. I don't know that I've ever been an NFL player more loved than Brett Favre, like in his peak, like when he was even like Raiders fans. When his dad died, the cheered like everyone
That
loved
game
Brett
was
Favre.
iconic. I remember that was a night game and he just played unbelievable. I'll never forget that. Well, the cool thing is I tell a lot of people because people don't realize like just how tight knit the Packers community is I remember growing up as a kid, we'd go over to summer in the summertime, to Green Bay, spend 2-3 weeks with the family over there and see them. And we'd always go to practice. And I remember back then, as the kids, we'd ride our bikes to practice, and then the players at the end of the practice, they'd jump on the bike, you go on behind them, and they'd ride the
Yeah.
bike back to the stadium, and then give you their jersey and stuff. It was like the coolest thing in the world. And I remember like I was so obsessed with Brett Favre. I thought he was just the coolest gunslinging quarterback. I was just like, and he was so popular that they wouldn't allow him to do that. They built
Oh
like an
yeah.
underground thing for him to go under because everybody wanted to see Brett, and it was like, things like that. I think it really, it kind of, it makes being a Packers fan, it's like, it's a community. It's not to say that other teams aren't, but it's just like, that city is so entrenched within the team. It's like, and I'm also a little bit biased, but I feel like Packers fans are just good people. Like
Yeah.
you go to the game and like we just recently did a podcast. We did a collab with a couple guys, they're brothers, and they go to stadiums all across all the NFL, all college stadiums, and they said to me that they have never been to a game where they've met more friendly fans than in Lambeau. And they said that when they went to the game, somebody came to get up to go to the bathroom and say, "Hey, does anybody want anything?" Like they said, it's like there's just such good people. Like they're so good. They root hard for their team and they're die hard, but like just intrinsically good people. Whereas I feel like, if you're a Vikings fan, you're naturally a scumbag.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I've heard stories. I couldn't. I'm not allowed to go to Vikings games or Bears games in away stadiums. I think I might get my ass beat. But I remember going to an Eagles game at Lambeau Field. We had this like VIP. I wouldn't say VIP, but one of those paid tailgating things. When they have it in a bar or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of Eagles fans there. And then they're like talking trash, like we're gonna win, and they're kind of not getting out of line, but like they were just talking a little bit of trash friendly. And then the Packer fans were singing "Bears Still Suck." "Bears Still Suck" came on the on the
That's
radio,
hilarious.
and then we're all singing it, jumping up. Bears, and I remember the Eagles fans. They're like, "You're playing the Eagles today. You're not even playing the Bears." Like, yeah, we don't care about you guys. And the Eagles were that year. The Eagles were a better team. They had a good start, and then the Packers ended up beating them. So the Eagles were doing their little chant, whatever. And then I remember after the game, I was outside. I was all hammered by then, and I'm like, Packers, Packers. And I'm like, where are y'all at? I remember my friends were like, hey, they'll beat your ass. Like, you need to calm down. These are Eagles fans. They don't
Yeah.
play. We don't need to.
My friend on my podcast. He's an Eagles fan, and he'll be the first to tell you, like those fans. But if you go to Philly, those fans they'll fight each other, even if they're
Yeah.
Eagles fans. Like they're batshit crazy. Those guys.
Yeah, the ones I met that day, like they were pretty cool. Like I remember I was at a Broncos game and people were like throwing stuff in the Broncos fans' hair or whatever, not like on purpose. But I remember that people were like, "Hey, no, we're sorry. The, we're not like messing with you because you're a Broncos fan." I think someone bought them drinks and whatever. Yeah, I think most Packer fans are pretty cool. They got. I think I was at a Bear game last year and there's a Bear fan in front of me and I was giving him. He was giving me crap at first, like friendly. And then the Packers ended up taken over, and then I gave it right back to him. But it was all friendly. Yeah, that's thing too because you mentioned your guy. He's a Bears fan.
Yeah, he's a massive. He's like what you do for the Packers is what he does for the Bears. So he knows everything. He can name every single Bears player, like the backups, the line. I mean, everything. He is entrenched within it. He is a true diehard Bears fan, and we have a mutual respect for each other. That's his team. He knows I, but we butt heads for sure. And like
Yeah.
he always says I hate the Packers, but the difference is he hates the Packers, but he respects them, and he could say like Aaron Rodgers is one of the best talents to ever come out of the NFL. Like so he'll like so I'm okay with him because he can like at least like some of these other fans you meet they're delusional. He
Yeah.
hates the Packers because we beat them all the time, but he still knows that we're good, and he still can admit that that Rodgers is an amazing talent and stuff like that. So we get into it sometimes, but it's all in it's all in good fun. But we were talking about maybe even going to a game this year in Lambeau. I think he would get absolutely just torched, but I mean, at least he'd be with me, so and make sure he's
Yeah,
he'd be
I
fine.
think Bears fans do all right at Lambeau as long as they don't get like crazy and start whatever. But yeah, I've always said this, and like on Packers Twitter, like I know all like a lot of the Packer fans. What everyone always says is we respect the Bears fans because like they're knowledgeable and they're not always just douchebags. Like
Yeah,
like exactly like what you just said about your guy. But Viking fans are not the same.
no,
Viking fans just say stuff like, and then like like on Twitter, like they'll say the stupidest thing, like, oh, because they were complaining that the Packers signed Jair Alexander, like, oh, he was hurt last year. Like, are you drunk? But then you say like, and then they're gone because they're just stupid. I hate Viking fans. They're just a stupid fan base. They have never won anything, and they'll say that like all you guys do is say that we don't have any rings. Like, yeah, because you don't. That's like
yeah,
that that's the goal, bro. Like
yeah.
you should at least get one like on accident.
I don't see them being. I don't see them winning the Super Bowl for a long time. It
No.
kills me, by the way, that Zadarius Smith is playing with them this year
Yeah.
because I really
I think
like
that
him.
was
I
a
mean, I
good get.
understand why he went there, but like, it pains me because he's a super awesome guy. It seems like, and a great
Yeah.
player, and just unfortunately, ran into injuries this past year. But it pains me that he's going to be playing with them.
Yeah, I like him. He's energetic. I think he's a good leader. He's a good hyped up kind of guy. Uh it is what it is, you know what I mean? The Vikings, I don't think that they're gonna do anything with Kirk Cousins. And I trash Kirk Cousins a little bit, but it's like he like they always throw his numbers. Oh, he's got this many yards, he's got this many. Like what? Yeah, that's all good and cute. But like when it happen when it needs to be, it's just not there. I don't know. I have no respect for the Vikings franchise. Most of the Viking fans, I know like 5 Viking fans who are cool. The rest are just, not. I don't hate them personally. Just as a fan, I just
Yeah.
can't stand them. Anyways, but everyone can find you on Instagram. Joey Cold Cuts. What?
Joey.coldcuts on Instagram. And then if you want to listen to our podcast, it's you're gonna check out the Brilliantly Dumb Show. So that's a more of a comedic based podcast. It's just real fun banter back and forth. And then if you like to talk to hear our takes on sports and different things like that, check out the Sportsman on all platforms. That's my other podcast. But it's been a lot of fun touching base. We're gonna have to do this more often, Matt.
Dude, we definitely do, especially when there's like actually stuff like going on. No, but like I'll say it again though. But I've been checking you guys out. I think you guys are about to just blow the hell up. Not that you're not doing well already, but I think you guys are on the trend. You're about to take over. Pat McAfee, watch out. You know what I mean?
I mean, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, there's a lot of cool things happening, in terms of like our being more involved with NFL players and stuff too. One of my buddies, he's a manager for Saquon Barkley, so we're probably going to do something with him. Get him out on the golf course. He started getting golfing and film an episode with him. It looks like hopefully, if all things pan out, we're going to be in Jupiter, Florida, in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to do a match versus Christian Kirk and Trevor Lawrence. So that'll be really cool. And then this upcoming July, I'm sponsored by Corona, and so is Josh Allen. So I'm going to actually be caddying for Josh Allen in a
That's
golf
awesome.
tournament for 4 days. So I'll be really getting to know him. He seems like a super cool guy, and
Yeah, he
hopefully we'll
does.
get him on an episode of our Bob Does Sports Golf channel too. So it's kind of cool because as you get more and more relevant within, I had Brian Bulaga has been hitting me up a lot lately. Him and TJ Lang want to do an episode with us, so that's kind of cool because like they're like like guys who were in the trenches for years for
Yep.
the Packers and guys that I really like. So like it's kind of like once you kind of get open the door and step foot into that football world, like all these guys just start coming out of the woodwork. And want to connect, and they're super fun to see what's going to happen. So yeah, we'll have to once the season starts, we'll have lots to talk about and break down and whatnot. If you're happy to have me on the show or vice versa, the door's always open. You want to come on one of our podcasts as well.
Yeah, dude. I think it'll be great. I think we can do a lot of good stuff. I think you're like, I watch a little bit of part of my take. Big Cat. Those guys are awesome. Uh, dude, I think that you guys are on your way to, like, maybe overtake them because you're Packer fans. We got to overtake a big Bear fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, naturally that would be the way that it would go. You would think, right? So
But everyone, if you want to find him and you can't find him, DM me, hit me up, and I'll definitely be sharing a lot of stuff on my Instagram and Facebook story. And he's well worth a follow. Not just him, his whole group. And go Pack, go man! I appreciate you coming
yeah.
on.
Thank you so much. Listen, it's a brotherhood, right? So as soon as
Yeah,
I know, like, your fan base is big time Packers fans, you want to DM me and talk, or if you don't agree with some of my takes or you want to share some football knowledge about the Packers, I'm always happy to talk shop. And I love supporting fellow Packers fans because they're just the salt of the earth.
yeah, dude. I totally agree. And you're a Packer fan that most Packer fans don't know. I mean, in the whole Packer world, I'm sure a lot of Packer fans know you are, but in the whole Packer little world, people are listening to this. Be sure to check them out. Go Pack, go, man,
Thanks, man. It's been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you, Matt.
for sure.